our expertise is through our market update. So every time we get together, we always talk about what's going on in the market, because Wayne Gretzky, and this is the only hockey quote or Wayne Gretzky quote I know, but it's the best one when it comes to real estate investing. He says, "I don't skate to where the puck is. I skate to where the puck is going to be. And I get there really, really fast," right? So what's the best predictor for us of where that puck is going to be? For us, it's what's been going on in the market and understanding the market and being able to read the optics that the market is showing us. And I'm going to go through that with you guys. I love to dig in the numbers, and I'm so stoked because we've got all of the 2021 numbers. So all of the markets just came out with everything. So I'm going to go through what that looks like and also share with you what 2022 looks like. So to wrap up 2021, we finished the year up in terms of sales for all of Texas. So it was up 6.1%. So we sold over 416,000 units, and our sales price, the average sales price, finished up 18.1%. So the average sales price right now in Texas, $372,000. So again, if you think you have money to invest in real estate, sometimes even if you have a fair amount of money in savings, right, like several $100,000, it may not be enough. You've got to get other resources, and we can help you with that, because no deal will go unfunded at Texas REIAs. I can guarantee that, because money is always looking for a great deal. So let's look at what we're forecasted for 2022. So the full year forecast for sales is up, but it's not up as much as it was in 2021. Why in the world would that be? Somebody help me with that answer. Oh my gosh. What is your name? Alexandria. Did you hear what Alexandria said? I'm Shanoa, but I don't want to mess with you, because you know what Alexandria just answered me? She said, even Victor's like wide-eyed right now. She's like, because they're messing with the wrong investors. And then she dropped my mic. So, well, anybody else have any other reasons for why we might not sell as many properties in 2022 as what we sold in why not we might not have the same amount of growth in 2022 as what we had in 2021? Yes, sir. Because I'm comparing to the prior year. Who else got this answer? Yes, sir. Because of COVID? That's so 2020, 21, 2022. No, what else? What do you got for me? There are not that many houses. What's another way of saying it? There's no inventory. It's an inventory situation. Why is there no inventory? Supplies. Yeah, supplies. What else? Population. What else? Hedge. Those nasty hedge funds and iBuyers, right? What else? Workforce. What does that mean? Not enough skilled labor. Guys, are we building enough houses? Because we're only building the number of housing permits in 2020 was like 160,000 housing permits. The number of housing permits in 2021, 170,000. We added 10,000 more houses. New builds. Is that going to get us anywhere where we want to go? Not even close. We could put 10,000 properties under contract probably in this room tonight, right? Like, that's how hungry, like we're a sponge that hasn't seen water in years in terms of where we are right now in inventory. So that's why I think it's going to be really hard for us to, we're going to do better than 2021, but it's not going to be easy, because we're like a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. And why are we one-legged? Because we don't have the supply. We don't have the inventory. We've got all of these, the supply chain disruption. We got all of our refrigerator. Who's been waiting on a refrigerator, a washer, a dryer, a dishwasher that's been like on the coast of California for like sitting out there? Seriously. And people are waiting on cars. People took a bus here tonight. You know, people are like, I need to get my stuff. And then what have we done as a society when it comes to the labor that has built our houses? We've underpaid them? What have we done? What have we done? What have we done? When I was a kid, and I know probably some of you guys are like me, when I was a kid, there was no route for me other than going to college. There's nothing even ever discussed. How many of you guys are in that same boat? Like that was the only thing that was discussed. And then how many of you guys were told, well, you want to be a white collar worker, not a blue collar worker? How many of you guys were told that? Come on, please, really? Come on. Yes, yes. Like use your brain, don't use your hands. Guess what? We've been telling our people that for 50 or more years. What happens when you tell enough people and they do exactly that? What happens to your labor force? It's gone away. And then when you close the borders and put a burning ring of fire around it, what does that do to a lot of the labor force that would have come here to work their butts off for us? They're not here. This has taken more than a generation, 50 years to now we're paying the price for some of that. So I'll tell you a quick story about a dinner party that I was at recently with an orthopedic surgeon. It was a to-do event. We all dressed in like really fancy clothes, greeted at champagne with a butler. It's a fun, wonderful night until the plumbing started to back up. So what did the orthopedic surgeon do? Called a plumber, stat. I got 25 really important people here at my dinner party, and I've got a major problem because they all need to use the bathroom, right? Plumber says, no worries, I got you. Gets everything all fixed up. Plumber hands the surgeon the bill. Surgeon looks at the bill and says, my God, man, you make as much money as an orthopedic surgeon. And the plumber said, I know. I used to be an orthopedic surgeon. That's what's happened, right? Now we've got all of these people going to school and getting all of these debt and rolling out making $50,000 a year working retail with all of this debt. And then the people who said, no, I think I'm just going to, college isn't for me. I think I'm just going to go to plumbing school. Those plumbers are making $150,000 to $200,000+ a year, right? Do you think that's going to get in our way in terms of our ability to build houses in the future? Two of you totally agree. Thank you. I'm going to kick the soapbox away. Let's talk about the numbers here. So, but our sales, because of inventory as well, our sales price will be up, and it will be up about 20%. 20% is huge. Normally our numbers are up maybe 5 to 6% when it comes to average increases in average price. So the last several years we've been seeing these double-digit growth, and we're going to continue to see that because people are continuing to move to Texas, right? And as they're moving here, they want houses and they're fighting for them. So the realtors in the room, multiple offers, above list price, the same day that it's listed, sometimes even sight unseen because they've already missed out on so many properties. They can't leave their meeting, but they're going to go ahead and put up the money to be able to try and get that house, right? Happens all the time. It's going to continue to happen because we're not doing enough about the inventory situation. And we've caused a little bit of an issue that's going to be with us for a long time. So let's look at the final results for 2021. Last month, so this is the top part of the chart is the December 2021 versus December of 2020. The bottom part of the chart is full year 2021. So the sales price last month for all of Texas was up to $390,000, up 16% versus what it was last year. Our closed sales were down, but guys, it's really hard to win in a contest when you've got one leg tied behind your back, and the leg that we've got tied behind our back, the arm that we've got tied behind our back is the inventory, right? You guys follow that? So even though it was down, it was only down 2%. Our pending sales are up versus where they were last year. So that's a good indicator for how we're going to start January. Our active listings are down. They're down almost over 10,000 units, right? We're going into 2022 with even fewer units than what we had in 2021. And we had about half the units that we had in 2021 versus what we had in 2020, guys. Normally this number in Texas is well over 100,000 listings. We've absorbed all of that, and we have hedge fund buyers, and we have people who don't want to sell their homes or move, and we have people who say, I want to keep it as an Airbnb, right? Which is what we're doing to make money, right? And to change our economy. So last year, the final numbers, total year sales up 6.1%, average price up 18.1%. The San Antonio market, average price was $356,000. So one of the more affordable markets in Texas, up 16% versus where we were last year. Their sales were also down because, again, they only have a 1.3 month supply of inventory. Their pending sales are up, but their active listings are down. The year-to-date numbers in San Antonio, sales were up 5% and average price was up 16%. In Austin, this is not a typo. That's average price in Austin, $605,000. Austin, I did a little research on the root of the history of the word Austin. And as I found out after doing a lot of study, I found out that it is Latin. It's from the Latin root meaning San Francisco. And Seattle. Yeah. So, but you can see average price last month was up 25%. Closed sales were down last month. Why are the closed sales down? Austin is operating right now on 0.6 months of inventory. So let me give you some perspective in case you haven't studied the market for a long time. The 40-year average in terms of months of inventory in Texas is about 6 months of inventory. What that means is if we stop listing houses today, based on the buyer demand that we've had over the last 12 months, right, divided by 12 so we can get an average buyer demand by month. If we stop listing houses today based on that buyer demand, we would be out of an inventory of homes for sale in 6 months. That's a normal market. It's not necessarily a buyer's market, not necessarily a seller's market. In Austin, it's 0.6 months of inventory. Austin has one of the wildest phenomena that I've ever seen in all of my years as a real estate investor. And this is the only city in Texas that has this phenomena right now, where the total active listings are less than the closed sales from the prior month and are less than the pending sales for the current month. You never, ever, ever, ever see this. Yet this is a phenomenon that's been going on in Austin for probably about the last 6 to 8 months. In most markets, you're typically looking at 2, 3, 4x the number of active listings versus what you would have in closed sales and pending sales. So you can tell how hot that market is. All the markets in Texas are hot, but this one is operating with the least amount of inventory. And that's why year-to-date sales were only up 2.5%. If there were more houses in Austin, do you think they would have sold more inventory? The answer is yes. Average price, basic laws of economics and supply and demand. As demand goes up and supply goes down, what happens with price? It naturally goes up. It naturally goes up. In the Dallas and Fort Worth market, I'll talk about the end of year sales. Dallas and Fort Worth was the only major market in Texas that ended 2021 with sales that were down over 2020. Yeah. But I don't want anybody to think Dallas is done. No, Dallas also has hardly any inventory as well. And sometimes there's a little bit of an inventory mismatch. So you may say, well, they had 1.4 months of inventory. Austin only has 0.6. There's a little bit of an inventory mismatch in terms of price range there. That's why you're seeing that little just chip down. But I think that if they're able to add any inventory going forward in 2022, we'll see that number go up. Average price up 20%. And let's talk about Houston. Does anybody want to know anything about Houston? What's going on here? Should I just skip that one? Oh, go into it. Okay. Now Victor's like my best friend. Now Michael wants to hand me his $100 again. So the average price last month in Houston, $392,000, up 13.5% versus where we were last year. Closed sales last month were down. But Houston, if you look at the year-to-date number at the bottom, Houston performed the best out of all the major markets in Texas in terms of the biggest increase in the total sales volume. Didn't go as good as Austin when it comes to the increase in average price, because Houston has had over the last year just a slightly more inventory than some of those other markets. And then guys, I want to share with you, has this been okay so far? Have you learned a few things? 2 people. One person gave me it goes like this. Try it again. You try it. Come on. We can do it together. Yes. Yes. Come on. I'm working my ass off up here. I'm sweating. I'm sweating for you guys. All right. Give me a little bit of love. Okay. It may be menopause. I don't know. But anyway, all right. So guys, we have a special announcement for you guys. So if you like what we shared so far, we've got a lot more to share as we go through the rest of the meeting tonight. But I want to share with you something that we have wanted to add to the Real Estate Investor Association. And over the last 2 years, we got to really rethink what we do here as part of Texas REIAs. So when we first started Texas REIAs, the idea was to emulate all of the other real estate investor associations that ever were, which basically looks like this. Every month we meet. Every month you get a lot of great information, a lot of great knowledge. And especially for my left brainers, somewhere between 1 to 3 years, you're going to have all the information that you need to be a successful real estate investor. But my right brainers came up to me and said, well, that sucks. I hate your model. I need to know how to do real estate investing, and now is good, right? So is now. Yes, to my right brainers? So what we've done is we've re-engineered how we fulfill membership into the Real Estate Investor Association. So now instead of saying, come back every month for the next however many months, we fulfill your membership to the Texas REIAs in one big 3-day live training where we go through the different strategies that you need to be successful as a real estate investor, where we walk through the marketing campaigns to be able to find the off-market deals. Because as you guys saw, are there any deals on the MLS? There's hardly even any inventory on the MLS. Are there any deals on there? Guys, let me tell you something. One stat that I did not share was houses on the MLS last year throughout all of Texas sold for 100% on average of their list price. Some went way above, right? A few went below, but on average, every house is selling for full retail. So is your deal on the MLS? The answer is no. We're going to show you the 65 different strategies that we use to find those off-market deals so you can survive and thrive even when the market is in a major disruption like it is right now. We'll also go through what we call the exactly what to say to be able to close deals. How many of you guys are familiar with Chris Voss? Okay. Never split the difference. He was a former FBI hostage and terrorist negotiator. Some of you guys may be thinking, hostage and terrorist negotiation? Well, what does that have to do with real estate and talking to homeowners? If you are thinking that, what you are telling me is that you have never dealt with a motivated seller. We use some of his techniques, tactical empathy, to be able to win deals and beat out our competition. We're going to share what some of those look like so that you can do that as well. And of course, we'll introduce you to some of the other longtime members of the association, people who we've partnered with over the years. And then we'll introduce you to different ways to be able to access funding to be able to make sure to fund every single deal that you have. And you guys have given me a lot of feedback over the course of this weekend or the course of this night. I'm going to ask that you ramp it up just a little bit more, because what I've committed to Texas REIAs, and I may have made a mistake in doing this, but basically I said, as long as we're wearing these, yeah, and I see a couple of you guys in the room wearing them, but as long as we're wearing these, we're going to do this for free. Hold your applause. I'm hoping that at some point we'll be able to take off the mask so I can go back to charging you guys for it. But until that happens, we are doing it for free. And here's our schedule for our next meeting. So if you guys would like to join us for a free meeting, and this is literally while mask supplies last, then we'd love to have you guys join us. We do this both live and in person. Some of you guys have noticed that we're broadcasting online now. So if you want to join us on Zoom, you're welcome to join us on Zoom. If you want to join us live and in person, you're welcome to join us that way as well. If you say, well, I kind of want to sort of work on Friday and listen from home and then come live and in person on Saturday and Sunday, that works too. So we've got classes coming up. The next one we have coming up, Austin, January 28th, 29th, and 30th. Then we have Dallas, Fort Worth, February 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then in Houston, we have February 25th, 26th, and 27th. You guys can get signed up for this at texasstarterkit.com. Or for those of you guys who are used to a QR code, you can just open up your phone and point it towards the screen here. And then texasstarterkit.com, or your browser will pop up. It'll take you to texasstarterkit.com. Guys, get registered for that during this next part of the presentation. I think we have even a gift for you guys as well. I'm gonna leave my husband to talk about that. So after we'll ask you a couple of questions just to make sure we spend a little time getting to know you, where you are in your business and what you're trying to accomplish, and we'll help you build your starter, what we call your starter blueprint, based on the way that you answer those questions and based on how we have helped so many members as part of this association over the years. So get signed up, and love to share with you more about what we've learned over the last 2 decades. And guys, I'm going to transition to my husband, and you guys are going to be really blown away by him.